Thank you.
Well, let's turn our attention to our earlier report where the presidency has responded to recent comments made by the former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, in which he falsely accused the president of supporting the annulment of the June 12, 1993 presidential election. And joining me now for more perspective on this is a veteran journalist, Osa Director. Good to have you on the news at this time. So indeed, yes, we understand you are a journalist that has interviewed most of those who took part actively in June 12 struggle. How true is the position of some politicians like Sule Lamido now that the president wasn't part of June 12 struggle? What can you tell us?
Thank you for having me. Well, for anyone to say that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not participate in the struggle for the revalidation of the June 12, 1993 presidential election, the popular mandate given to the late Chief MK Abiola, will amount to a deliberate falsification of history and distortion of facts. That is one of my biggest challenge with elite politics in Nigeria. Our political elites tend to approximate their political emotions of the present to distort history and immutable facts of history because of their present situation and assessment of events. For the fact that anyone would disagree with the performance or otherwise of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Commander-in-Chief, does not amount to depriving, or it's not an excuse to deprive him of his flowers and distort his democratic credentials during the struggle for the validation of June 12, 1993 election. I was lucky to be an active participant during that period as a journalist for one of the foremost pro-democracy magazine, Child. I will start with before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu went into exile. He was a member of the National Assembly. He was a senator representing Lagos State in the 3rd National Assembly that was inaugurated on the 14th of January, 1992. And after the annulment of the June 12 election, because you see, the National Assembly was in place while the civilian governors were also in place, put together by President Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, IBB, which was his own euphemism of engaging this convoluted transition program to transmute to a civilian president. So we had a kind of diarchical arrangement. And Tinubu was in the Senate then, and most people were not aware that this was the intention of IBB, even though magazines like Tell Magazine and the News Magazine and Temple were already in the forefront and shouting that this is the intention of the president. When Tinubu was in the House, I remember covering the National Assembly in Abuja on one particular instance that the anti-democratic forces have coalesced to remove and decimate the democratic forces within the Senate. And then the then Senate President, Iyorchia Ayu, was part of democratic forces aligned with Tinubu and all that. I remember this particular sitting where Tinubu had to physically shout down Alhaji Alimodu Sheriff, who later became governor of Borno State, because he was on the other side, because they wanted to remove Iyorchia Ayu, Senate President, and plant their own man, Ahmed Ebute. Tinubu was even then part of the forces, democratic forces, saying, no, this cannot happen. Right. And if I can recall very well, it was almost becoming physical because he was so emotionally involved and engrossed that Ayu should not and cannot be removed as the president of the Senate because he symbolizes.
All right, we cannot continue with this conversation at the time because of time constraint, but thank you so much for bringing your thoughts on this very crucial matter. We hope to bring you again tomorrow to extend more on this very conversation. Veteran journalist, Osa Director, thank you so much for your perspectives on the News at 10 tonight.
Thank you.